Hi, my name's Dan Dodman. I'm a partner in the dispute resolution team at the newly merged RWK Goodman. I'm a passionate historian and photographer. I thought I'd take the opportunity now for us to go for a walk from here at 10 St Bride Street, where I've been working for the last 3 years at Goodman Derrick, to our new offices at Carter Lane. I've got my camera here to take some photos, so let's go. Gunpowder Square.
Ah, that sounds like it's got history.
It has got history, but I don't know what it is. So here we are, and we're in Gough Square, which is famous for one major thing, really, to be honest, which is that building over there, which is Samuel Johnson's house. And that is the actual building in which he wrote his dictionary, the first ever dictionary. It's a really rare survivor. It survived both the Great Fire of London and also the Blitz, and it's got scorched embers in the rafters to prove it. It's probably worth having a look at this statue here, which is a relatively new statue. It was put up in 1997 of Hodge, which was Dr. Johnson's cat. He was hugely fond of the cat. He used to give it oysters all the time. Right, we've gone slightly. I mean, this is the worst way that you would possibly ever go to Carter Lane, but I think that's okay. So this is one of the oldest pubs in London. There is always a big debate between the various different public houses as to which is actually the oldest. But this, the Olde Chessy Cheese has certainly been here since 1667 and arguably probably before. One of the highlights for me is Holly, who's a stuffed parrot. Now, she was a resident of the pub for 40 years at the beginning of last century and was very famous around this area for having an incredible vocabulary, most of which was largely consisted of swearing. And head towards the Tipperary is where we're going next. I promise it's not a pub crawl, there are other things but pubs. So here we are next to the Tipperary, which is one of the really, really sad losses of COVID. Although it doesn't look like it from the outside, it's one of the older pubs in London. And it was actually said to be one of the first places in London that you could actually buy a pint of Guinness. Right. Here we go, Magpie Alley. Most people will have heard of Whitefriars because of the bridge and because of the name, the Whitefriars. But the reason why it's all named around that is because there used to be a huge monastery there on the banks of the Thames. What most people don't realise is there was also a huge monastery here, and this was Whitefriars. One of the very few leftover physical remnants is just here underneath what used to be the old News of the World building and was a Magic Circle law firm's offices as well until relatively recently. Back, and we're not talking particularly long time ago, you know, sort of 50 years ago, there would be all this machinery churning out the newspapers in these buildings, which is a bit mad to think about, but that's, you know, what would have happened. St Bride's. It's one of the great buildings in the city, and it's got over 2,000 years worth of history inside it. The building that you see now is Christopher Wren building. It was one of the buildings that were reconstructed after the Great Fire of London. The spire is also really quite famous thing. It's a really unusual design that sort of steps up. And it's said to be the inspiration for the wedding cake. But a really fantastic building, and very lucky to have it so close. And of course, the building which the street which Goodman Derrick used to be in St Bride Street is named after, so yeah. Here we go, Carter Lane. Well, we're going to take the boundaries of the route between the two places to a complete extreme and walk past the office in order to look at something and then come back. So this is the imaginatively named Wardrobe Place, which is very close to the offices of RWK Goodman. It's called Wardrobe Place because Edward II had his wardrobe here. The words changed over time, so it literally wasn't, you know, a cupboard with his suits in and his clothes in and his sort of casual wear. Lots of the books, the royal household books, all the bills and everything else, they're all kept here in a building over on this side of the square. And unfortunately, in the Great Fire, that building burnt down completely. It's also said that this area is haunted by, if you're into that kind of thing, by a lady dressed in grey who apparently, you know, as things normally happen, if you interrupt her or try and talk to her, she just disappears in front of you. Right, so here we are at 69 Carter Lane. Carter Lane, so called because it was used by lots of carts as a cut-through from Ludgate Circus up near St Paul's, just over the way. And this obviously is my new office, the RWK Goodman office going forward. It's absolutely a delight to be here, and I hope that you've enjoyed my little stroll from the old offices all the way to the new ones. And looking forward to creating our own sort of new history as a merged firm.